So now let's move on to mobility. First would be the red and the green one. You can raise the green card if you agree that the Eindhoven Rondweg speed limit should be at 70, or the red if it has to be less. Thank you. Now let's move to the 1-minute question, and this time let's start with Eva. The question is mobility within the city and linking the city with the other cities. Both are of paramount importance. So what is your manifesto call out for?
Yeah, the ring road is currently too dangerous for cyclists and pedestrians. And GroenLinks PvdA wants to lower the speed limit for that reason, but also transform this ring to a ring park with planting trees and nature amongst this. This will also improve the air quality. We were talking about it earlier. So, yeah, we choose clean and healthy mobility options where children are able to play safely on the streets. And that's why we create more space for pedestrians, cyclists, and public transport. We want to build 2 new train stations and also introduce a tram. But we also will ensure Eindhoven is connected to international railway services, because this way, sustainable and affordable travel becomes the standard.
Cool.
Thank you. We want the ring road to be at 70 kilometers an hour. This because if you ever been there, it's always full of traffic jams. And mobility is a very important thing. We must make sure that if there are no cars anymore in the city center, that the ring road remains accessible and that you can go anywhere with your car and not be in traffic all the time. Of course, it's also important to invest in public transport, so we also want to experiment with free public transport for a year, making alternatives genuinely attractive. But you can only do this if you make sure that the car has still a place in Eindhoven. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Well, everyone has the right to clean air, and we think that Eindhoven needs to develop a plan to ensure that everyone that we meet the standard of the World Health Organization, and lowering the speed limit on the ring road to 50 kilometers per hour would reduce emissions in large part of Eindhoven, and then we can also promote a further clean air by restricting some areas where no traffic is allowed or car traffic anymore. And also I think we need to shift our way here in Eindhoven, because Eindhoven is really a car city, and I think we need to make it a bicycle city. So I hope that is our manifest for the next years, and a lot of parties will not agree, but if we want to make some change and make sure that everyone has clean air, that is the way to go.
Yeah, the Socialist Party wants to lower the speed limit to 50 also on the ring, because it's safer. It is proven that a lower speed gives less traffic jams, and high speed gives more because of accidents and other causes. And also, we want good public transportation, so everyone can go anywhere in the city as they want. And if someone wants to walk, it has to be nice to walk there. If someone wants to cycle, it has to be nice to cycle there, because movement is a right, and mobility is a right, and not a privilege.
I think there is no good reason to have a high speed limit at the ring. Truly, all the onderzoeken, studies have shown. All the studies have shown that if you want to avoid traffic jams, if you want less pollution, the traffic or the speed limit should be at least or the maximum at 50. So there's no good reason to do anything else. D66 wants for the rest of the mobility to be clean. It has to be safe. It has to be efficient. And if we're looking at the city center, then we think most of the mobility should be for pedestrians or bikes, for bikes. But outside of the ring, we understand that you need a car as well. So we should still support parking spaces for everyone who needs a car.
Yes, I think the car stays very important for us because we need it to go to the school, we need it to go to the sport activities. But you have to have the 70 kilometers, I think it's very important, around the city. So you go very quickly from A to B, we call it that way. But if you want to have people going into the public transportation must be organized very well. That means no waiting time and not waiting 15 minutes for the bus, or have other opportunities to go quickly from A to B. So we think as a Liberal Party that it must be your own choice, and if you want to have people getting out of the car, then you have to have good alternatives. So you have to start with the alternatives which are very important and good organized. And of course we want people to cycle because it's very good for their health. We want people to walk. It's also very good, but it must be your own decision. And we don't believe in regulate all what is decided for you, but good alternatives is very important.
You build your infrastructure and your mobility according to the city you want to be, not just the city you are right now. I lived in Jakarta, I lived in Cairo. An average car ride there took about an hour and a half, if you were lucky, by the way. And after the problem arises, then they started to build new kind of infrastructure mobility. We know we are a city of 250,000 people now. We will become a city of 300,000, maybe even 500,000 in many years later. So for me, it's crazy. When you expand your infrastructure, you don't even think about now building already ideas around a tram or a metro. Even a cable car came by. I don't mind what kind of ideas, but you start to think and you build according to the city you are becoming, not what you are right now. And it also includes inclusivity. So for example, for many people, the car is still very important. You don't chase people out of the car without having alternatives. Everyone here knows how bad public transport is through many of the neighborhoods. Many of you probably live in Eindhoven, so you know how bad public transport is, and then the car is still a very important option. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, talking about the Ringweg, if it was true that going faster would clear up any traffic jam, then the German Autobahn would not have any traffic jams at all, and it does constantly. So lowering that, as already been said, scientifically proven, makes it flow faster and better. If we look at the Volt vision, then we look to cities that have already done very good jobs on solving issues with the mobility. In Eindhoven, we have a thing we call the Stromp-principe, which basically means to step, to bike, to roll, so for people in wheelchairs, public transit, mobility as a service, and only then the private car. So that's the order of what is important to focus on. Because if you do it the other way around, if you don't make the decisions now, then it won't be a nice place to bike, it won't be a nice place to walk. And so first priority should be walking and biking, and then the rest comes later.
Thank you, Jaco.